Okay, so this is a continuation video of Marbleslides lines, slides 16 through 24. Now, I spent a little time on this first slide right here trying to figure out what are the best lines to write so that we can collect all the stars. Now, you're gonna have to, on these next like 8 slides, you're gonna have to kind of get really creative, spend some time figuring out the domain restrictions. This is kind of your time to play around with the lines. Um, and you can make it any kind of construction or whatever with the lines, but you got to get creative, and you just need to be patient. And if you have questions about these ones, please email me or Mr. Meyer, and ask, and we can kind of show you how to do this. And if you need to watch this video over and over again, um, I encourage you to do so. So for this one right now, I need, so if I initially dropped the Marbleslides in your screen, it's blank, it goes straight down. Now that's not going to collect this left star and that right star. So I needed something that would, the Marbleslides would drop down, or the marbles would drop down, and it would go left and right. And you notice I have this line right here that stops. Well, I needed it to go down this little slide and then down that slide. So here's my slides, got everything. I restricted this line right here so the marbles would go down this one as well. Now that line is right here. So I have a negative slope. It started at 24. So if I just have that line, it looks like that. So I created this line. I got the slope that I wanted. I got the y-intercept that I wanted. But if I launch it with this, it stops. So I need to unrestrict this line. So I need a little hole right here, and I need a hole right here as well. So I needed to mess around with the domain restrictions. Now this is going to be kind of difficult for some of you, but all I can say is you just kind of have to play around with it, see what happens to the lines when you type in your restrictions. Everything that you need for the restrictions is the less than and greater than symbols right next to your M key on your keyboard. So you just put, so like right now I need it to stop at x equals 10 right here because this is x is 10. So I'm going to put a 10 in there. Less than x, that has its stop at 10, and it continues for anything that's greater than 10. Notice that it's any number that's greater than 10. So any number that's greater than 10, I have a line, but I need it to stop right here. So if I have it stop right there, that looks like it's 14. So if I put any number that's greater than 10 but less than 14, it stops. So you're going to have to play around with these. If you have questions about these, I'll definitely help you. Just email me. So that's that line. Then this is a simple line right here, this dark red one. It's just, I needed a line that kind of matched the slope of those stars. And I don't really need to restrict anything because it's just going to slide down and then go down there. It doesn't matter. Same with this one. This one is pretty simple. It's a positive slope right here, slope of 1, crosses the y-intercept of 4, and I needed to restrict its domain because if I didn't and I launched it, then thus the marbles would go down this way but not that way. So I need the domain to stop at x equals 10 right here. So I go over here. These symbols right here, you can access them by coming in here, and I think they're somewhere in here. I think if you use parentheses, it works. This little keyboard right here is at the bottom, or that symbol right there that I got is right next to your P key and on your keyboard, and it's just you have to hit Shift. So I need x values that are less than 10. So any x, any number that's less than 10. Less than is the alligator's mouth is pointing away from the x value. So that creates that. Notice that in here I had anything that's greater than 10 for the red line, and over here for the blue line it's anything that's less than 10, and they meet up perfectly. And then boom, I collect all the stars. So you're going to have to kind of play with stuff. Now it's going to get much more confusing. For this one, I need a line that goes from pretty much the marble to that spot right there, and that would collect these, but then I need another line that starts from here to go to there. So I'm gonna have to have two lines. So x, y equals, I need a negative slope from here to there. So I want my y-intercept to be like maybe 14, and I need a negative slope, so negative x for my negative slope, and I want the y-intercept to be at 14. Now that looks good, but I need it to be a little bit more or a little bit less steep to guide it into that funnel right there. So I need this point kind of up there. That means I need to change the steepness. So it's right now it's a steepness of 1. See how that 1 didn't change anything? Because the 1 right there is not changing anything because it's already a 1 if you just have it by itself. So if I put in like a 2, that's too steep. Now if I put in a 0.5, that's pretty good actually, but I need to kind of restrict the line right here so the marbles go down the funnel. So right here is x equals 4. So I restrict my domain. So I want any numbers, my line, any numbers that are less than 4. So any number that's less than 4. See how it stops right on that little funnel right there. If we launch it, it collects those, but it does not collect these ones. So I need a line that carries over from here to there. Now, always start with y equals, and then I'm going to put in a negative slope because I want my line to go that way. And then I want to have, so I want a line that kind of looks like it goes like this. So maybe my y-intercept would be like, I don't know, 10. So let's try that. 10. Hold on, let me plug in my computer real quick. Okay, so 10, and obviously right now it's way too steep and it's not really guiding my line. It's not going to guide my marbles to these stars over here. So I got to make something that's a lot less steep. Let's try 0.5 again. It's getting close, but I need a little bit more less than that. So what's smaller than 0.5? Let's try 0.25. That looks pretty good right there. So if my marbles come down, see how they'll come down here and then go down there, but see it never goes down that funnel. I need to restrict the domain of this line right here, this line. So what I do is got to kind of play with it, but I want my line for anything that's less than what this x value is. What x value is that? That's an 11 right there. So any number, let's go back to this, any number that's less than 11. And that looks pretty good. Let's see if it works. It might be a little bit off. Oh, it's so close. Okay, so maybe I need it at 10. And voila, success. So just work through these as best you can. They're going to be really tough. If you have questions, please ask. And sorry those videos are so long, but hopefully you enjoy.